Well, that's one big story today. The incredible images tell it. Across Colorado, the powerful windstorm rolling through from the foothills onto the eastern plains and beyond. Wind gusts of over 100 miles an hour in some places today.
We've got team coverage of the winds and their impact coming up in just a few minutes. But first, we want to get straight to Kathy in the Weather Center with the first look at your forecast. Kathy, these are hurricane force winds, and they've just been breaking records left and right today.
And you know what, even with fair warning, I know that meteorologists have been talking about this wind event for days. I still think you're just not prepared to see what we saw today. And this is so typical in a La Nina year to see these gusty wind events, but at least the mountains got some moisture out of it. We're going to talk about it. Outside right now, things are a whole lot calmer. Skies are clear, and the winds do seem to be easing a bit. We're still in the mid-40s. We topped out in the lower 50s earlier today. Snow continues to fly in the high country, and blowing snow an issue on I-70 and also along the Front Range foothills. Some of the wind gusts still above 40 miles per hour along the foothill areas, Broomfield, Arvada, out toward the Greeley area and Fort Morgan, but a whole lot better than what we saw earlier today, where we saw a peak gust of 95 miles per hour in Jefferson County and in the Rocky Flats area, 91 up in Boulder, Broomfield 84, 80 mile per hour winds in the Genesee area, and in Broomfield, Holyoke, Broomfield, again, that 84 mile per hour gust, 70 mile per hour winds in Akron and also in downtown Denver. There's that center of circulation. Boy, is that a fast moving storm. Now concerns turn to the Midwest with a line of storms that may produce tornadoes yet tonight from Wichita up toward the Omaha area and Minneapolis. Tornado warnings in effect. The area in purple, that's a high wind warning that does continue. And the area in blue is a winter weather advisory for additional accumulating snowfall. And we're still seeing those areas of blowing snow on the I-70 corridor, and that will be an issue for travelers over the next few hours. Here are all the advisories for snow, for wind, for air quality. We're watching now as Futurecast is showing things calming down a whole lot in the next 2 hours with temperatures continuing in the 40s. My colleague meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen is up in Arvada, or west of Arvada, where those winds were over 80 miles per hour. Did you see the tumbleweeds tumbling by?
Nothing but tumbleweeds all day long. You know, the scarves are done blowing for now, Kathy. I think this thing's just about done here for the metro area, but those winds were strong. Here at my location along Highway 93 in West Arvada, the top wind speed was 94 miles per hour, so very impressive winds all across the board. And before the winds, the cold front was also very impressive. It kicked up some snow squalls up in the high country. Take a look at the snow squall that I intercepted on I-70 in Summit County at about 6:30 this morning. It was wild. I mean, the visibility went from clear to zero in a flash. It put down about 2 inches of snow on the interstate in about 20 minutes, and semi-trucks really had no chance. They were stranded everywhere. It was a mess from Georgetown all the way to Vail Pass. And then I followed the cold front all the way to the eastern plains, where I witnessed the very beginning of what turns out to be a very large dust storm. Out there, watch the cold front move right over my head. Take a look at it, what it looked like on satellite. You can see the storm just swirling across the eastern plains there and just pulling up the dust. And then, of course, what that meant out on I-70, you know, as the Thomases were trying to drive from Denver to Kansas City, complete zero visibility, shut down because of the dust storm out there. So very strong winds, very impressive storm system altogether. But right now, those winds are starting to let up as the high wind warning expires in about an hour from now. Now let's head back up here to Boulder to check in with Noel Brennan. How you doing out there, Noel?
Hey Corey, I'm along Highway 93, just near 128. I can tell you that traffic is moving smoothly right now. That was not the case earlier in the day. They had 93 closed at 72, but it is open right now. The winds have died down a little bit. I will say earlier, they were no joke, and photojournalist Tom Cole and I experienced that ourselves when we tried to open the trunk of our car door here, or the trunk rather of our car, and it wasn't good. The bosses are not going to want to see this. We got some damage here. The trunk nearly got ripped off, and all that we're left with are pieces of the hinges. I imagine some of you out there today could relate to our experience. We are really, though, feeling for the folks who live out in one Arvada neighborhood. The winds were gusting so much today that garbage was literally raining down. Anyone who stands outside on Wednesday can become a trash collector.
I went to go get a package from my friend off her porch and I got pelted with paper in the face.
Jennifer Shelton assures us laden rock can be lovely, like her hair on a different day.
Oh yeah, thanks.
But when the wind is blowing up to 90 miles per hour, this feels less like an Arvada neighborhood and more like an extension of the nearby landfill.
There's tons of trash flying around. It looks like a tornado.
She's only outside to check the status of her Christmas decorations, which now blend in with the decor from the dump.
They're kind of trashed.
Gusty days are a given out here, but memories of this one will stick.
We've been here 4 years. I've lived in Arvada my whole life, and it's never, ever been this bad.
All anyone can do is wait for the winds to come down, and the trash, too.
It looks like you're in a, I don't know, a trash pit.
So Jennifer told us the strangest thing she saw today was a kiddie pool flying through the air in her backyard. And we were out there in that neighborhood today, and I believe it. The winds were so strong, and you saw it in that video, literally trash flying through the sky. So we feel for those people in that neighborhood. And Tom and Alex, I know next trash day, they're going to have their work cut out for them. They might need a whole week to clean all that up.
Like a snow globe of trash. It was sorry to see them have to go through that in that neighborhood, but well, got to pick it all up again, start all over.
You hate to see it.
A lot of people, a lot of work to do after all these winds today. All right, Noel, thanks. We'll see you coming up at 5. The wind also took down, of course, some trees, and that included some power lines. Our cameras saw some of the Xcel Energy crews working today. This here at South Logan and Ellsworth in Denver, trying to restore the power in between the wind gusts. As of now, the company's outage map reporting more than 600 power outages with nearly 60,000 customers impacted throughout the I-25 corridor in Colorado. We talked about the roads and how difficult they were to drive today. The State Patrol is asking people to stay off the roads until it calms down, unless you absolutely have to drive. Specifically, high-profile vehicles should not be on the highways at all. We had several reports of crashes, and many semis rolled over in places like I-25 through the gap. Now, if you can safely get to the airport, there's no guarantee that you're getting out yet. The FAA did issue a ground stop for DIA. It was lifted within the last hour. That ground delay, though, in place for much of the day, causing many delays.
And Darius Johnson has been there most of the day, joining us live now at DIA. You've been watching these cancellations, these delays, just ahead of the holidays. How are people taking it all in?
Hey there, Alex and Tom. You know, I will tell you that the winds have been blowing in, and so have the unhappy passengers as well. I can tell you within the last 5 minutes, I did check the FlightAware website. There have been 521 delays and a total of 146 cancellations today alone at DIA. I can also tell you that the departures, they've been the brunt of this. Most of those people have been impacted. But if you ask a lot of those passengers that were arriving, they'll tell you that it was a bumpy ride.
It was just rough.
A lot of turbulence.
Turbulence.
Yeah, a lot
yes.
of turbulence. She was squeezing my hand the whole time.
Now, I'm going to call them the lucky couple since they were able to make it to their destination, but thousands of others are also hoping to make it somewhere safely at some point today. The flight board has been covered in yellow and red all day long, showing the hundreds of delays and cancellations. Many people got here early just to learn that their flight was impacted. Then there was the frantic rush to figure out what's next. I spoke to one gentleman who was supposed to be heading back home to Dallas. Instead, he's spending another night in Denver.
We're supposed to start boarding at 9:07 Frontier, and like 15 minutes before they canceled our flight. They didn't tell us why, but that's basically what happened. They canceled our flight, and I went to customer service, and they didn't have any flights going out until Friday. So that was like the earliest.
So he had a friend come and pick him up. He's hoping to get out of Denver to be able to make it back to Dallas by Friday. So we want to wish him the best of luck with that. In the meantime, I can tell you that that ground delay that the FAA has in effect, that will end at 6 unless the winds continue to pick up a little bit. Also, along with that, it's starting to show that these delays are decreasing, so hopefully all goes well for the rest of the evening. But Alex and Tom, I can also speak to just the severity of these winds. DIA has a total of 6 runways. Only 2 of those runways are being used and have only been used so far today.
It's good things are winding down. It's already stressful traveling right now during the pandemic, all the things you have to think about. Then at this end, it's no fun.
And you have to let everything go and understand safety. I mean, you don't want to be on an exciting takeoff or landing. You want things to be safe. All right, Darius, thanks again for the update from DIA.
The windstorm is apparently feeling a little grinchy, too. The gusts tipped over the Christmas tree in the center of Old Town Arvada. Town leaders say it's not what you want to see 10 days before Christmas, but they won't let it keep them down for too long.
It's going to take away from some of the ambiance, but I know these business owners down here, we're all in the holiday spirit, and so no, it's not going to dampen our spirit.
A hut with Arvada's Makers Market was also blown over and damaged by this wind.